So I was thinking the other day that someone should make a quick point about how the NAP, the non-aggression principle, will inevitably lead to oppression. And you know what? I'm just the person to do that for you. So the non-aggression principle is a mostly libertarian, mostly free market capitalism idea that, you know, if you don't hurt someone, then they don't have any reason to hurt you. It's a bit more complex than that. I'll try to find some links and leave them in the description, but it's basically, if you don't instigate violence against a person, and you don't instigate a violence against a person's property, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. It'll be fine. Everything will be fine. But it won't. No. So let's say that you have a very wealthy person, because we have very wealthy people in the world now. Let's say this very wealthy person wants to buy some land from another person, and does that. Let's also say that there are people living on that land that this wealthy person just bought. People who don't necessarily own that land, but have leased that land through the third party. And the first person, the wealthy person, decides that he's not willing to honor that lease. How do the people renting their home, basically, what do they do? What is their recourse in that case? I haven't heard a satisfactory answer to this yet. And I hope I do hear something resembling a satisfactory answer. Charles Barkley. Stay with me. Charles Barkley had this conversation with Richard Spencer. I know, I'm getting to it. Charles Barkley, I think it was Charles Barkley, had a conversation with Richard Spencer where he asked about privilege. And Richard Spencer said that he wanted more privilege for white people. That he understood it, that he thought that it was good, and he wanted more of it. That is how the NAP would function. It would be more privilege, more societal, more economic power for the already affluent. And everyone else would have to suck it. Here's another problem. Here's another really simple problem. If you have someone who's not making enough money to buy their medicine, who's violating the NAP there? Because that person is being harmed. And some people would say, oh, they're being harmed by their decisions because they've made bad decisions. But that's not necessarily true. If someone is born with a debilitating illness and can't find work or can't find steady work, doesn't society owe that person some sort of recourse? Doesn't everyone deserve to live? I mean, most of these libertarian fake anarchist capitalist people would say that people at least deserve to live. People own their bodies. That's what self-ownership is about. It's about having a right to be alive. But I don't hear satisfactory answers. I just hear shirking of responsibility. If they have an illness, it's not anybody's fault to fix it. Or even worse, it's that person's fault to fix it. It's that person's responsibility to solve their illness because it's their body and their property. But if society doesn't give them an opportunity to do that, then how are they supposed to do that? Something that we see right now, something that encapsulates all of my fears and concerns about how an anarchist-capitalist society would function, is the Keystone Pipeline. That was a series of voluntary transactions between the government and large corporations. People opposed that, and people opposed that for good reason. They understood that harm was going to be done to them if this went through, and it was pushed through anyway. And the anarcho-capitalists, the libertarians, they don't have an answer for that. Because they can't. It's almost idealistic in a way. They think that we live in a perfect world. I think that they understand, I think that they have an understanding that if they just remove these things that are wrong, then the world will be perfect. Fuck, I don't think the world's gonna be perfect. I don't think the world I think we're going to make the world better if we make it an anarchist society with the kind of horizontal organization that gets people involved in things, but I don't think it'll be perfect. We can't make a perfect world. But we can make a better world. My battery seems to be running low, so I think I'll leave it at that. I might follow up on this later. That's not everything I have to say, is what I'm saying. So, until then, thank you very much for watching, and take care of yourself, alright?